Hey guys, everything new under the sun. This is another one of those videos along the same line as the Greek myths and the legends told of old, and the flood legends that all civilizations around the planet have, pretty much. And this is a story of Atlantis, a lost city, Atlantis, that was written up by Plato and a couple of others, and it's it was considered to be a myth, a legend, a story, something that's not true. But as with a lot of things, there's always a little bit of truth in every one of these little legends and stories that these writers and in some cases historians have written about. And this is one. This is from BreakingIsraelNews.com. Lost city of Atlantis has been found, and is connected to the Jewish temple in the most incredible way. That's the title. And the verse for Breaking Israel News is, Tarshish was a merchant by reason of multitude of all kinds of riches. With silver, iron, tin, and lead they traded for thy wares. Ezekiel 27:12, and that's of course speaking of Britain, basically. Britain means tin, as I understand it. The lost city of Atlantis has been found, and it's straight out of the Bible, at least according to a stunning new National Geographic documentary. So National Geographic, your mainstream, evolutionist program, has made a documentary about this. So interesting, which follows a high-tech, wide-ranging search for the mythical city with incredible results. So every time they go searching for these myths, they find out that there's a lot of truth to a lot of these apparent myths. And I'm thinking of the Greek myths, of the giants and the gods, and the half man, half beast creatures in Greek mythology. And they always find there's some truth to that. Those specifically relate to mostly to pre-flood and Nephilim and that sort of thing. The documentary Atlantis Rising, released last Sunday, features Oscar-winning Titanic director James Cameron and Emmy-winning journalist Jabba Jacovici, following ancient clues through Greece, the Mediterranean, and the Atlantic on a search for Atlantis, the mythical city that allegedly sunk into the sea thousands of years ago. Along the way, they discover mind-blowing biblical connections to Atlantis, including a 3,000-year-old carving that ties the mythical city to the Jewish temple. So everything ties back to the Bible, and the Bible is proven correct over and over again when it refers to or makes mention of these things, or there's some relation there, and speaks of the Noah's flood. All these things tie back to that, and I think it was likely destroyed by Noah's flood. That's what it seems to be. It was apparently covered with water and mud. That would be the result of Noah's flood. So often when you tell people you're looking for Atlantis, you think it is a crazy project because they think it is a thing that is made up by Disney or Hollywood. A city full of mermaids, Jacovici told Breaking Israel News in an exclusive interview. Jacovici, who describes this recent project as investigative archeology, admitted that the sources are scarce. The only ancient source for Atlantis was the Greek philosopher Plato in the 4th century, before the Christian era, or before Common Era. They used to name it just before Christ, but that's discriminatory now to say before Christ. In his dialogues, Plato wrote about a traveler, Solon, who learned about a highly advanced, wealthy civilization. That sort of sounds like the Bible, pre-flood Bible. And they were very smart before the flood. If you think about it, Adam, for example, was probably the smartest human on the face of the planet. He was nearly perfect. Nearly. Highly advanced, wealthy civilization described in depth. It was a port city located past the Pillars of Hercules, which Jacovici explained is known today as the Straits of Gibraltar. In Plato's account, Solon describes the destruction of Atlantis by a natural disaster, which covered the coastal city with mud and water. Noah's flood. According to the story, the city sank into the ground and disappeared. Jacovici equated this to a tsunami. Many people may think this is a fictitious account, but Plato went into a lot of detail. More problematic is that no other historical or archaeological source discusses a city named Atlantis. He pointed out, however, that the Greeks had a habit of renaming people and places. The team set out to find the city that fit the description of Atlantis. The search eventually led them to the Iberian Peninsula, where they began to make a connection between Atlantis and an ancient city known as Tartessos, which appears amazingly in the Bible. Could the Bible be accurate? Could the Bible be archaeologically accurate? Is it historically accurate? Yes, yes, and yes. There are many artifacts in ancient writings that show 3,000 years ago there was a great city of Tartessos, very wealthy and with a powerful navy. Though we don't know exactly where it was purported to be somewhere in southern Iberia, Spain, or Portugal, precisely the area that Plato gives for Atlantis. Isn't this incredible stuff? I mean, there is so much history in books that we just pass off as complete myth, as fantasy, and it's all true. We basically live in a Tolkien world. It's incredible, and we don't know it. We think we're so smart, but we're so dumb. We don't know history. We don't know archaeology. We are, we're not too far removed, only thousands of years removed from some of this amazing stuff, and yet we consider it all fake, all fake news, if you want to put it that way. The Bible speaks many times about a city called Tarshish. King Solomon fought naval battles with the wealthy city, an ally of Israel. The king of Tarshish and of the isles shall render tribute, Psalm 72. Tarshish is also mentioned as the city that Jonah chose to flee to rather than go to evil Nineveh. In Tarshish, Jonah encountered a fierce storm. This is very characteristic of the area around the Straits of Gibraltar. The fact that the city Tarshish is mentioned throughout the Bible seems to contradict a connection with the Atlantis that was destroyed well before Plato's account. I think there are several stages of the destruction of Tarshish. One was during Exodus, and the final one was after King Solomon. Perhaps the most shocking revelation came when Jacovici interviewed Spanish researcher Georgios Diaz Montexano. He showed me a Bronze Age symbols, 3,500 years old, carved into ancient shrines. Montezano believes that after the tsunami destroyed Atlantis, flood I'm guessing, or Tarshish, the refugees made these shrines to commemorate the destruction of their city and to pray to their gods that Atlantis should rise again. The refugees, or, I suppose it could have been a tsunami, but to me it makes more sense if it was covered, that it was a Noah's flood, but I could be wrong. The symbols carved into the walls had distinct design resembling a bullseye stand and a stick with 3 legs. The ancient stone carvings in the Spanish shrines are strongly reminiscent of Plato's description of the port of Atlantis. 3 concentric circular docks with a central rectangular temple to Poseidon, another god, a Greek god, one of the gods, one of the children probably from the Nephilim, sleeping with the daughters of men, with a canal connecting out to the sea. And this is, I guess, what they're suggesting there. That's the menorah. Talking about this one here, the mysterious carving. You see the concentric rings and the dock there. The symbol carved into the walls was an aerial view of the port Plato described, but with the canal depicted as Poseidon's 3-pronged trident. And here you can see the 3-pronged trident there. In one of these shrines in Spain, a 3,000-year-old carving is missing the top half of the bullseye. Montexano theorized that this symbolizes the refugees that were praying for a restored Atlantis. But that's the symbol, as everybody knows, is the menorah. So is it the menorah, or is it a half symbol of the symbol of Atlantis, or is it both? Is it just coincidentally similar? Jacovici relates Montezano's theory to the remarkable similarity between the ancient symbol found in Spain and the Jewish temple. Montezan believes that when God told the Jews to make the menorah, he gave them a symbol they already understood, already recognized from the Atlanteans. Isn't that that's fascinating to me? That's another confirmation that the Bible is accurate historically, archaeologically, scientifically, medically, in every other way. It is accurate. Science and archaeology confirms the Bible is accurate every single day. You can have faith in your Bible. It's amazing stuff. We are still trying to gather all the information that the Bible has in it, and trying to prove it because we have such lack of faith. But every day we find that the Bible is not more accurate. The Bible is accurate, period. And more we are finding information that verifies, backs it up, confirms it. And this is just another one of those. And it's pretty cool to think that the city Atlantis, that great mythical city, could actually be real. And in fact, the Bible actually references it in many locations, and it has a large part in the history of the world and the Bible as well. Pretty cool stuff. I'll leave there, guys. You can watch, or you can look at the article. I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.